This is a FLIR thermal imaging camera, so you should be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy, except for the beard, which is probably blue. A lot of people like to call me nearly headless Nick if you look at it in the right way. Yes, you guys got that reference. So I normally point out the fact that I'm red, orange, and yellow because it means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame. Sorry, fellas, but that's how this is going to work for us tonight. Bridal parties, that slays. You're looking at me like, holy shit, this guy's got jokes too. But anyway, and that's only if they're sober. We already talked about that. The cool thing for you guys, we're looking for those cold spots to be blue or black. I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we're looking for. That's what we caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully that's what we're going to capture again. I love to give you guys stats of what you guys are about to be holding, so that way the expectation is very clear. I capture 4 to 5 pieces on this guy per year, not per episode that I would put my stamp of approval on. I am not a TV show host, and I'm definitely not a YouTuber. So I'm not here for the likes. You're already here. I want you guys to have fun. That's the point. So I will spot check this video when I get back to the office. Oh, by the way, there is a cold little blue dot bouncing around on the screen. So Doug's going to be looking at that blue dot for most of the night because I'm looking for 15+ degree temperature drops. It's about 84 degrees out here for us ambient. So I'm going to be looking for 71 degrees and colder out of this when I do my spot checks. Obviously, we want to make sure it's not a can on the ground, a sign, a window. Right. You're getting the point. So that's your start and stop button once it actually wants to. No. If you stop your recording every time or start it every time you think you saw something, it's already gone. Just get us enough footage. Most of you out of the cameras will record about an hour and 20 minutes worth of grand total footage. So, spirit boxes. Have you guys heard anything yet? You guys haven't said anything. Jake, Jackson? Nothing? Have you heard any radio whatsoever? What'd you hear? Okay, so anything stand out? Okay, so you don't know what the lyrics were that they were singing? Okay, so look for those DJs that we're talking to. So sometimes we hear DJs or a commercial. Jackson, what about you? Did you hear any of those? I really heard was cop. Cop. We needed some cops over there, didn't we? Okay. They were calling for them. So here's how this space is going to work. So every time we get into a new space, it's always going to be a different scenario. This one, we can spread out. That's the beauty of it. Not to mention, it's haunted as hell. So I'm going to give you guys the history, and then we're going to spread out. I'll do 1 or 2 round robins with everybody, give you guys some alone time with your spirit boxes and cameras and equipment, and kind of take down a few notes, and then regroup us to give you all of the answers. So when I say all of the answers, I am going to be withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. All of you communication device people, you're going to be getting the answers from your spirit boxes. That's how this works. When we regroup, I'll let you know if we had anything, if anything at all. So definitely keep an eye on those EMF meters. We're going to talk about those as we kind of move throughout the entire pieces. We're also going to escalate your numbers. So for example, over there, I didn't want anything now below 3.1 while we were there. We're starting over at 2.5 here. When you get to a 5, that's your new base. When you get to the next number, that's your new base. And the same thing goes for yours. It's not going to be his new base. You're going to start with yours as well. So 2.5 and grow it. I'll be writing all of those numbers down. We don't like to go back and forth. So what is this place? You're in a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. I told you, I take you to weird spots. This used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space where those cars were parked, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant to your left and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know, in the event that Natalie hears the name Charles, which one it is by Jake and Jackson finding the secondary clue, so I know how to address that particular Charles. You guys seeing the point now? Now, moving forward, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined, especially this year, right? So we're going to move on and talk about Eliza. If I don't give the gentleman that recognition of signing the Constitution, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. Let's try not to piss these people off. So moving on, we're going to talk about Eliza. Her story is much more interesting, I think you guys will find. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from when young ladies got married at the ages of 12 and 14. think of today's standards, because the husband is over double her age. So it's kind of a creepy age gap back then. It's definitely a creepy age gap now. So I'll explain that once we regroup. I'm looking around at my couples going, do I have a couple of that age gap between us? I've had to put my foot in my mouth before. Moving on. She married him because her father was over in England, where they're from. Dad thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying. She stays put right here, gets married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that particular year to earn a green card. We are not a country yet. There's no such thing. This is a true love story. There's nothing horrific about this location. If anything, it's a place of respect. Moving on. She was right. Dad did not die right away. And instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, makes your blue jeans blue. Anything you do, a lot of denim in you guys tonight. Got a lot of examples. Sometimes I don't have any. Good job, guys. But anyway, when Eliza got her seeds, had no idea what to do with them. Had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. I know not all of you are from around this area, but you get it. Then she had to learn how to make the dye, move it to a cash crop. Got a hold of Dad overseas, told him that the rice plantations going downhill in price, they're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Whoa. Something absolutely unheard of. And that's the boring business stuff of Eliza.
58, is that even?
Yes, that is possible. Especially with this location. Your new baseline is just going to be anything above 25 at this point. So, so Ellen, did you get anything out of yours yet?
No, it's 11.5. Yeah.
Over there. See if you need anything over there. He doesn't have anything right now.
I think it's you, Bill.
So here's what's going to happen with the communication devices. I'm going to give you guys focus questions. You can either say these things out loud, or you can just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and I'm here every night, except for when I have to cancel, right? So, according to you guys. So it's not like Eliza doesn't know what we're going to be asking. I want you to also keep in mind we have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. Natalie's asking questions. Her answer can go to any device that receives communication, which is basically everything besides the 2 EMF meters.
Scare the horses, dude.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Kind of jerks. Sorry, wife is going to school to be a vet. It's all about the animals and ghosts in my house, so I always have to pay attention.
Vet tech. I
Are
get
you?
it. Yes. We already took a tour, and the first thing I did was thank the horse.
Yep. What you do.
Yep.
So, communication devices. So I'm going to focus because I don't know how yours is going to respond completely yet. Remember, you're only the second person to ever use it. So the 2 of you are going to have the same set of questions. Just because I know what yours is capable of. You're going to focus on Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it. So you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, or how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So are you familiar with what a pallbearer is? No, it's, think of people like carrying the coffin to the grave. Those people carrying it are called a pallbearer. It's an honor to be able to do that. So it's a very big deal. By the way, 3 little tiny rules for all people asking questions. No yes, no questions. We've kind of already covered that. Be respectful because of what the place actually is. And do not, please do not ask about Eliza's children. I will kind of give you guys that heads up before we leave the space. If you poke the bear unintentionally, all activity stops, including our EMF readings that are going on. Your device is very special because it only gives us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. The mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. If you get the what, we will often get the 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that occurred. Just remember that those answers can go anywhere. All 3 of you will be telling me the silliest things that you're hearing, whether it's from a DJ, song lyric, commercial, or something in between the white notes. So, all 3 cameras should already be up and running. EMF meters back to me, so I can give them a little bit further explanation. The rest of you spread out, get used to your cameras. Just stay away from the vehicles, and I'll be with everybody in just a minute. Turn that thing up, man. Get working.
From the vehicle showing 72 degrees, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't think. Yeah, it's showing like 72 degrees in each of these vehicles, but I don't necessarily mean anything. Yeah.
I just heard on this bullet to her head.
You just heard what?
It said bullet to her head.
Bullet?
Bullet
To her?
to her head.
Bullet to her head. Okay.
I think so. It's kind of hard to understand this. When you do it, it's going to be kind of hard because your ears.
That's normal. Like 58 degrees, 57 degrees over here. I know it's the truck, but nothing else has been that cold. I know we're not supposed to look in the vehicles, but as I was scanning, it was going around back of that truck, 58 degrees. Closest one, all the other ones were like 72.
Jackson, have you heard anything yet? Have you heard anything specific yet?
I heard Mark Cuban. I heard bullet to her head. I haven't tried to talk to the girl yet, and then I also heard chasing. And I thought I heard my name, but I couldn't quite make it out. Kind of sounded like.
What's funny is your name is heard here all the time. So we do have, and it's a small tie. Not really to the family itself, but they may have known some of them. But Andrew Jackson, his vice president, lived in this area. So John Calhoun is buried nearby. So every once in a while we get things relevant to Andrew Jackson. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, I don't always count it as like direct evidence at this point. I might count it as your name. So I'm not going to really count it as anything else. But I'm hoping that something else is going to pop up that's going to be more relevant to some, maybe a ghost you guys brought with you. Long lost relative that's just kind of overwatching. But you're on the right track.
I just said, like, what happened to the house. I said, like, 18 to 19. I don't know. Could she be alive right now?
Follow up with them in real time because I do send them to YouTube,
right.
And I watch them on a computer screen. You guys are going to watch them on your TV set. Right. So if I'm not following up with you and RHONNA as much with those cameras because they're small, then
right.
You know why.
So I know we're not supposed to look at the vehicles,
right?
But you know, just kind of doing this.
Right.
This one on this side at one point dropped down to 58 degrees.
On the metal?
On
the body of the truck?
On the window or whatever.
Okay.
On this side it's 72. On that side it was 58. Every other one's been 72. That one was 58.
Interesting. And you got it
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was standing over here.
Is the motor still warm?
I don't know. So I was standing probably about here and doing scanning.
So if the motor's warm, yep, he had the air conditioning running and blowing right on him.
Yeah, 'cause that's at like 63, but like I said, on the other side it's 72.
72.
Well, why wouldn't it be the same on that side?
True.
That, like I said, that one. Yeah, that one's. I mean, from here, there's so much red around it, you can't really tell. But even with that, it's at 79.82 over there.
Okay.
So.
Got a little weird anomaly.
So.
The glass I have to debunk it right away.
Oh yeah.
Glass, but you're comparing glass with other pieces on the same vehicle.
But that light also turned on and did that too, so don't know if. So, just out of curiosity, if. This side, well, because with the light there, I don't know if it'll show. Yeah, the front still shows warm.
Okay.
Oh, 45, 41.
On the windows.
Yeah.
It's also on the chrome. The chrome is going to definitely be cooler
Yeah.
than the rest of the vehicle.
So, like I said, probably nothing, but it just,
At least
the
we're
fact that it
looking
was
at
that big a difference.
Well, that's why I hand you guys the cameras and we take a look. Any other numbers?
So I got that one at 41 degrees. The window. No. The engine is still warm, so it's probably air conditioning, but still. I mean, most air conditioning is at 41 degrees. But, let's see, because these,
Have you gotten anything?
yeah, the engines on here are not hot.
Have you gotten anything?
Only thing I got over here was the window was about 41 degrees.
That's weird.
So,
I mean,
these other ones are at 72. And he's like, well, they probably ran air
I asked her
conditioning.
when she died, and it said 18 something. And I said, what? And I said, what? I said, what? Like, when was it built? It said, I heard like October. That's about it. I haven't heard
The
anything.
husband was 45 years old.
45.1, 85, 11.8. You went from 25.1 to 85 to 11.8.
He's doing that to get a base.
Father and daughter. I asked, how did she die? I heard father and daughter.
Definitely a love story.
So she said, my love, so she just said.
Definitely a love story. Ellen, have you had any numbers that keeps out at all? Nothing even close? Did you think the one I gave you was broken?
No. Why am I so drawn to that corner? I mean, just me. I just.
Like, it's not in your brain. No.
Over
You're
there.
not recording either.
No, I didn't know. I over there for a while because I was getting this my
Always keep it running whenever we're out of space.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna splice all those little videos together to make one.
Yeah, see, from here that truck's nothing, but close up it was like 41 degrees.
This is nothing like the Winchesters.
What's that?
This is nothing like the Winchesters.
You want to change?
I know, like, they've had the camera on her for a little while, and
I don't have to think with this one.
it's dark, you know, out here. So, like, you can see how dark it is.
Now see why the water bottle was suggested.
I noticed my shadow was too.
That's probably the air conditioning over there. I'm seeing 62 degrees, but I think that was over in the horse barn.
Maybe mine's not working because I think this is a bunch of hooey.
Try and get into it, honey.
I know.
No, that's the great thing. You're not supposed to know. Not yet. Alright, we'll do one more quick little round just to see what Jake's got going on. And obviously, you know, Natalie's picking up on her spirit box and how that's working too. So,
Okay.
Jake, what else you got?
I switched.
Oh, you switched.
Big one to switch.
Gotcha.
Because it kept going to the house.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. It's definitely not easy. Did you show him where the volume was at so he can control it? Alright.
Which is the high.
It's a little wheel.
So the
Hey, Jackson. You want to switch with Mom?
So for that
Next location, I do.
Okay.
anything above 25. So it's 25.0. Anything above that.
Just do it for at least a couple minutes.
Did you find it?
You probably have to turn it down.
Oh, it's okay. I apologize. Yeah, you guys never used this stuff before.
Okay.
It's a wheel, so it's got the button right here, and you can feel the whole wheel moving outwards, running with the numbers, comes it up. Alright, we'll give you a minute with that now. Kind of wrap this one up here.
Sure, hon.
Somebody asked me, like, have you seen anything weird? I throw them up on YouTube. I watch them on a large computer. You guys can watch them on TV. So I can't wait. I use for the cameras. It's the aftermath.
I asked my boy what the house was, and I heard yellow.
I'm getting as low as 39 right there. I understand that, but even with the air conditioning and everything else, it shouldn't be 39 degrees, not outside.
Did you go around on the other side of the truck?
Come here, Jack. Look. Look at the temperature. Because we go right there.
Alright, guys, let's wrap this one up.
That's 82. Hey, Nick. That went down to 38 now. 39, 38, 39. So it's getting colder.
Take a look. So you know it's got that chrome on the back. So I'm going to have to, like, watch the video and kind of see where that line is.
I thought we had to wait till you
no.
finished talking.
Oh, no, we're going to, because we're only going to be talking here.
Oh, okay.
So, now, Ralph, we are getting the RI from a regular spirit box, like what Bill's holding. So I bought another device. It's basically an EMF meter, but gives us letters. It acts like a digital Ouija board. So I bought it on purpose for this location. We've had about RI show up about 6 or 7 times in the past year that I've had it. Anyway, moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe. Good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the damn story. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. So why are we in Dueler's Alley? Let's talk about that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So on their way home from seeing the play one night, they are arguing over the new actress they just saw. Neither one had seen her before, and Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Ralph is then insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly between the two of them. They went their separate ways. But Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper the next day and placed an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doc saw this ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out of how dumb shit was back in the 1700s. Anyway, the two gentlemen came down here back to back. They took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel. Ralph still has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground, and Ralph proved his point. He's not willing to forgive. Doc's friends took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. Two things about the last statement I just said. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds, a lot different back then than what we think of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here, which is literally every one, tells their guests to listen for the whistles as they walk through the alley. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a whistle, it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. However, the device that Bill's using, the one I spot checked, can't tell you how many times the whistling part of a song comes on and the word doctor immediately after. I do not look for these things. I listen to minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever shows up in those 1 minute increments is what I find. It happens all the time at this location. It's part of the reason why I won't leave this location out of my route. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here, I can't take you all the way through. This is one of the spaces I've been kicked out of. Listen for the whistles through a voice recording from your phones. Just remember, every local knows this damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. It's just something we do here. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, here's get to the fun part of how I got kicked out of here, and then we'll get out of here for real.
I thought it said 20.
What was that?
Oh, it was 88. I thought it said 28. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, holy cow, that's a big drop.
Yeah, no, it's 88.
There used to be a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street, the way we came in. The reason why, this was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. Why am I telling you this? They started down there and worked their way over here slowly. Those bricks down there by Queen Street are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and some fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about it. Remember how I feel about cemeteries. The kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. So November 26th of 2020, took my entire group down there to show them the handprint so we can continue moving. They all stopped. Excuse me. They're huddled around that damn brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen with the equipment that I handed them. We're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. Wasn't allowed to take my groups down there. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical. She was probably about Jake's age at the time and thought it was great that her dad was getting yelled at, and she was able to witness it. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on weekends because I own the company. I used to work in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I don't do Thanksgiving anymore. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He laughed at me, just like my daughter did. Said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Reroute your group tonight. Well, guess what? It's Black Friday, and I'm sold out again. So I told my group, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally be telling you a pirate story at the next location, but I've been kicked out of there too. We'll talk about that one later. Now, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating over there, the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. Took him around the corner, told him what I did know. Somebody else heard the number 300. I'll wait for her to pass. I didn't know what the 300 meant. I wrote it down. So I'm doing the research for them the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. I normally get the, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I was pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. When I'm researching anything, especially, even this, especially this, I need facts and data. That's the problem. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. Whenever you guys found something over there over the past 4 years, I had to do a shit ton of research and read more books. That's a problem, because that takes up a lot of time. I had this great story built up, and now they're monitoring that area to see if tours are even allowed in there at all. So I've been kicked out of it once. I don't want to risk getting another ticket against my business, so I'm just staying out of it for the time being until we can actually figure this whole piece out. Where we are going, we're going to be using RHONNA's camera as kind of, like I said, a focus piece of equipment. I will tell you what happens at that location, and we're going to get 5 to 7 minutes worth of footage from all 3 cameras, primarily RHONNA's, just based on what happens there, and all 3 spirit boxes will be listening in along the way after I give you the history. Listen from here to when we get around the corner. I'll tell the story, swap out the battery and lighting, and then we will kind of get some footage over there, and I will explain our last 2 stops from that location. Anything weird going on with your devices before we leave the space? Have we heard anything? Any spikes in EMF? What do we got going on?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Did you get some whistling?
Did you get some whistling?
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit. Okay, so remember we're looking for 8 or above. I know you were muted, Natalie, so this is a spot where you're like, dagnabbit, he talks the whole time. Footage looks like you guys were kind of all over the place, which is super great. So I know it usually says stay free still, especially with the one that Maritza's using, just because we never know. Of course, now the air conditioner wants to stop when I'm losing my voice. Wonderful. Oh, so it was whistling that he heard. And Jackson, you got nothing?
I got nothing.
Just so you guys know, there is a rumor that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here as well. However, I did get in touch with our dueling expert here in Charleston. There's no proof of it anywhere. But if you walk through this alley and you move some of the foliage out of the way, you could see the Sidewinder bullet holes inside the bricks. They're still there. That's why the foliage is built up as much as it is, to kind of hide some of those things. But yeah, let's go learn about this crazy story that's going on over here. It's been kind of weird with this one. Talk about why I don't know what that's about it. There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. And Sue's grave is the cross in the back, to the left of it, and one more row back. We were actually closer to her when we were in the alleyway, believe it or not. So with the 2 EMF meters that are actually out, we have seen a 9 and a 12 over in this area. So if there's any weird anomalies like that, super quick. It's only happened twice. Oh, you got the spirit box now. I keep forgetting who's got what.
I think some was not sweeping.
What happened? I'm not even
No,
listening
I didn't
to
say
this.
anything.
Oh, no.
Was,
I'm just trying to...
there we go.
Recordings. Yeah, we got 5 to 7 minutes worth of footage over here and see if any of the spirit boxes give us anything. And then I'll explain our last 2 stops. What it says about the spirit box. Come on, Sue. I'm only going to be coming here another week or 2. There's a parable across the street, but I haven't gotten anything from it lately, so I haven't been able to get the story down to see, make sure all the clues are lined up.
Want to try this one?
Vermont, is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Help came over. I don't know, help.
Okay, I got you.
My dog.
So the word dog would show up here all the time. It's actually relevant to Anne Bonny. Her famous quote is, "Jack, if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't have been hung like a dog." So the word dog shows up here all the time, so I'm not surprised by that. It's almost a curse to know all the different histories around the location. Oh, by the way, do you guys see the light off to the left? I'm sure you do. The church put that there on purpose to deter any people from taking photographs in this location because it obviously causes a light flare. Once you get a little something up on the wall, they come back.
No, I couldn't tell if I moved for a second.
It's probably showing up on the wall.
Yeah, I did.
We did capture something here with your camera. There was okay. A little bit of dancing around right in front of us.
Yeah.
And you can zoom in too. There's yep, got it.
Talking about John before NYPD came over. His name was the most retarded NYPD cop. If that's
Things show up relevant to you guys all the time.
Yeah.
You guys brought somebody with you. So still learning about that. Spirit boxes, we get anything else? Yeah.
Are there any questions that you would...
So this location, it's about, I don't really have direct questions. If you want to ask about your husband, you just don't poke the bear with the
Yeah,
baby,
that's
but,
why I'm like, because I...
yeah. But we've gotten things like,
yeah, but it could be the wind jack.
we've had some odd phrases show up while we've been.
This Madonna, the Just Like a Prayer. I was trying to see what, but I couldn't.
Was that the lyric that you heard though?
Yeah.
I'm gonna dance.
You know she was crying over her own grave.
Oh, because that's what came over, just like the prayer.
I'm guessing this is more movement of trees and stuff, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely. A lot of layers in there for you.
Yeah.
No body. Nothing.
Did you make a man?
Probably.
Where you at on your counter? What's your counter say?
Time? 5 minutes. 27.
Doug, you got anything?
Not since you turn the corner now.
Ghost hunting is all about ghosts. Wow, that's a big ghost you got there, dude. Alright, I think it's fair we could wrap this one up. Nobody's really like screaming different clues at me. Yeah, hit those stop buttons. Let me pull this down. Wow, it's like dead silence. Is excited? You got something?
I have a picture. It's like a picture, and it looks like an auditorium, like an old like theater.
Okay.
And,
Anybody in that theater?
yes, full of people.
Okay. Anybody specific or just a crowd?
No, just a crowd, and then like on the stage, it's just like there's like a blue background, but it's not like anyone's up there.
Okay. Nothing specific yet. Remember, I want to remind everybody that can hear me that Dr. Ladd will show up here from time to time. His house is right around the corner, so this is a place that he loves to sneak in with. His code word is purple, so if either one of these two guys say the word purple, obviously we know he's nearby. That's not a common word you hear on the radio. As excited as these two guys were to do this,
Remind me, got it?
it's there.